Hi there and welcome to Code Framer. So in this video we will start understanding about the logical operator. So in the last few videos you would have understood about the arithmetic operators and also the comparison operators. So before we start, I just want to tell you that till now you would have heard automated voice in this particular Python tutorial. The reason why I was using automated voice is simply because it was saving me a lot of time. But going forward I will be taking all the sessions in my own voice, because while explaining certain complex concepts, I think it really helps if we take the session or explain in our own voices. So going forward, you will hear my own voice in all the videos. So having said that, let us begin. So first of all, let us understand what is the definition of logical operators. It is quite a simple definition. So logical operators are used to basically connect more relational operations to form a complex expression which is called logical expression. So whenever you want to compare multiple logical expressions with each other, then you can go for using logical operators. So when it comes to comparison operators, if you remember, we were comparing two operands with each other, right? And based on the truthfulness of the comparison operator was returning you whether the result is true or false. But sometimes you may have a requirement to basically compare multiple logical operations. Then in such cases, you can go for using logical operators. So say for example, if you want to compare whether a value in a particular variable called a is greater than 2 or not. In that case, you can simply use the comparison operator, which is greater than symbol, and you can basically get the result whether the value which is stored in a particular variable a is greater than the number 2 or not, or the integer 2 or not. But what if I tell you to compare two logical expressions? Say for example, I want you to ensure that the value in a should be greater than 2 and also the value of a should be divisible by 2, or it should be an even number. Then in that case, only using the comparison operator is not going to be enough. You can individually create these two expressions, but to compare the truthfulness of both these expressions, you will have to use logical operators. So in this example, you can use the AND logical operator. So which means that if you write a is greater than 2 and a percentage 2 equals 0. So only if both the expressions are true, then only this logical expression will return you the value true. Even if one expression in this case is false, the value that this particular logical expression will return is false. But in this case, the value which will be returned is true. So this was just a quick example to just explain that how you can use logical operators to basically compare multiple logical expressions. Now, when it comes to logical operators, we have three operators which are nothing but and, or not. I'm sure that you would have seen all this in your mathematics subject in your school. So basically in programming also, so when it comes to and, it simply means that the expression which is on both the sides of this particular and operator should be true in order for it to return the result as true. So even if one particular expression is false, then the output of this particular expression will be false. So say for example, if you write 3 is less than 2 and 3 is greater than 1, then in this case the result will be false, because as you can see here that the left side of the expression, which is 3 is less than 2, is wrong, because 3 is greater than 2, and this is the reason why it returns false. And then you have the logical or. So logical or simply means that either of one expression must be true in order for the or operator to return true. So say for example, if you write the same thing, 3 is less than 2 or 3 is greater than 1, and here because 3 is greater than 1 and which is true, this logical expression will simply return true, because when it comes to or, either one of the expression must return true in order for the or logical operator to return true as the output. And now the last operator is the not operator. So not operator simply means that it will simply return you the opposite of the result that it has received. So say for example, if you write not and then if you write 3 less than 2, now 3 less than 2 is false, right? Because 3 is greater than 2. So 3 less than 2 is false. And now since you have used not operator on this expression, it will simply return the opposite of the result which is generated by this expression 3 less than 2. So 3 less than 2 produces false, and because of the not, the final output will be true in this case. So these are basically the functionalities of these three operators, which is quite simple in nature. So let us quickly go to the editor and start coding to see how these logical operators works. But before that, just have a look at this particular table where you can see that how AND operator basically returns output based on the expressions that it has on both of its sides. So say for example, on the left side, you have the operand 1, and on the right side of the logical operator, you have operand 2. Then if the left side of the AND operator, if it returns true and the right side also returns true, then your final result will be true. Similarly, if you have true returned on your left side and on the right side if it returns false, then your output will be false. And then if your operand 1 has the result as false and your right operand has the result as true, then your output will be false. And if both the operands or both the expressions on both the sides of AND operator are false, then again you will get the answer as, or the result as false. And now these two expressions are little different. So what it is saying is, if your left operand is basically returning you true and the right expression is returning you not a boolean value, but say for example it is an expression. In that case, you will get the expression itself as the output. Now just to give an example, imagine that the left operand is a greater than 2 and on the right operand you have just c mentioned. Now say for example the value of a is 5 and value of c is 100. In this case, since 5 is greater than 2, which means that the operand 1 will return true, and on the right side you don't have any boolean as the output, right? So you have just an expression which says c is equal to 100. So in this case you will get c as the output. So which means that the expression itself, which is on the right side, will become your output. So we will see this in our example. And finally, in operand 1, if you are getting false as the output, and on the right side if you have an expression, then you will get the output as false itself. So I hope that now this table makes sense. Similarly, you can have a look at similar table for OR operator. So you can again have a look on this table as well. So the operand 1 means the expression which is on the left side, and operand 2 means the expression on the right side. So expression on the left side if it is true, and right side if it is true, then you will get the result as true. Then if the result is true and false from the expressions, then you will get the result as true. So if your left expression is returning true and right expression is returning false, then you will get true as the output. Similarly, if your left expression is giving false now and the right expression is giving true, then you will get the result as true. And then if both the expressions of your OR operator on both the sides are giving false as the output, then you will get false as the output for the logical expression. And finally, again, you have these two results, whereas you can see that on the left side if you are getting true as the output, and on the right side if you have an expression, then in that case you will get true as the output. And similarly, on the left side if you are getting false as the output of your expression, and on the right side you are having an expression, then you will get the expression as the output for your logical expression. So I hope that now this table is also clear. We will see an example very quickly for this table as well. And finally, let us have a look at the table for the NOT operator, which is quite simple as you can see here. So if you are using the NOT operator in an expression which returns you false, then it will simply convert that result into true. And if you are using NOT operator in an expression which returns true, then it will simply convert it into false. So now let us go to the editor and quickly code all of this to see the results. So now let us code all the examples that we saw on the table for the logical operator AND quickly. So in the first example, if both the operands are returning true as the output, then AND operator should return true as the result, right? So let us first create three variables. Say for example 10, then we can create b equal to 20, and then we can write c is equal to 30. So now if we print a is less than b and b is less than c, then now if we execute this particular code, then as you can see here that we are getting the result as true. And why is it so? Of course, because 10 is less than 20 and also 20 is less than 30. So which means that both the expressions on both the sides of this AND operator are returning true, which means that true and true is true as far as AND operator is concerned. So in the second example, we have true and false, right? So if the left expression is returning true and the right expression is returning false, so if we just change this operator to greater, which means 20 is greater than 30 is false, right? So now if we execute this code, then it will return us false. So this was the second condition. Now if the left expression is returning false and the right expression is returning true, then in that case as well you will get false, because even if one expression is returning false, then the AND operator will simply give false as the result. Now the fourth example was when both the expressions were returning false. So we can simply make this as b greater than c. 10 is greater than 20, false, and also 20 is greater than 30, that is also false. So if we now execute this code, then as you can see that we are getting the result as false. So this was our fourth example. And now the fifth and the sixth example was that the left expression was returning as true, and on the right we had a expression itself which was not returning any boolean output, so it can simply be an expression, right? So we can simply write here c. So in this case, if we execute this, and let us just change this operator to less than so that it returns us true. So if we execute this code now, as you can see here that we are getting 30 as the output, so which means that AND operator is returning us the expression itself, the value of that expression which is on the right side of this AND operator, right? So which means that AND operator not always returns a boolean as the output, it can return an expression as well. So if your left operand is returning true and the right operand is returning an expression or is an expression, then AND operator will simply return the expression to you. And the last example that we had was if the left expression is false and on the right we have an expression, in that case it will simply return false to you. So these were the examples that we had to look from the table. So I hope that now it is clear how you can use the AND operator operator. This is just a basic example. And of course, when it comes to AND operator, it is mainly used in conditional statements, right? So say for example, if we want to execute some statement once a particular condition is true. So say for example, if we write if a is greater than 10 and a modulus 2 equals 0, then we can simply print a is even number and greater than 10. So say for example, we change this value of a to 12, and now if we execute this particular code, then as you can see that we are getting the output as a is even number and greater than 10. And this is because both these expressions are true, right? Because the value of a is 12, so a greater than 10, which is 12 greater than 10, is true, and also a modulus 2 is equal to 0 because a is divisible by 2 here, so the remainder is 0, and that is why a modulus 2 returns as 0. So both these expressions are true, and that is why this print statement is getting executed. Now if we change this particular operator to less than, then if I execute it, then nothing will get printed because this print statement is not getting executed at all, because this if condition is not true anymore. And why is it so? Of course, because this particular expression is returning as false, and which means that false and true will return false as the output for the logical expression which uses AND logical operator. So I hope that now it is clear for you how we can use the AND operator. And now let us quickly move forward and see how we can use the OR operator. So again, we will just explore all the examples that we had in our OR table. So when it comes to OR table, first example was that if both the expressions or both the operands in OR operator is true, then in that case we will get true as the output. So we can write A is less than B or B is less than C. So if we print this, then as you can see that we are getting true as the output, and this is because 12 is less than 20, which is true, and also 20 is less than 30, which is also true. So which means that true or true is true for this logical expression. So now let us comment this out. So the second example was that if the left operand returns true and the right operand returns false, then also we will get true as the output. So in the right operand, we can change the operator to greater than, so which means that now 12 less than 20 will be true and 20 greater than 30 will be false. So now if we execute this, then as you can see that again we are getting true as the output. And the next example was false true, right? Which means that if the left operand is returning false and the right operand is returning true, even in that case we will get true as the output, because even if one expression is true on either side of the OR operator, then you will get true as the result. And if both the expressions are false, so here 12 is greater than 20 will be false, and also 20 greater than 30 will be false. So if you execute this, then you will get false as the output. So the only condition where OR operator can be false is when both the expressions on either side of the OR is returning false. So I hope that this is clear. Now the final two examples were that if a particular expression on the left side of the OR operator is returning true and on the right side you have an expression, in this case you will get true as the output. So as you can see here that you are getting true as the output. But if you are getting false on the left side of the OR operator and you have an expression on the right side, then in this case you will get the expression itself. So as you can see here that the value of C is getting returned, which is 30, and this is because 12 is greater than 20 is false. So this is how the OR operator works. So I hope that this is clear. So again, OR operators are also used on different conditional statements. So say for example here if we write OR instead of AND, so let us say that this simply prints result as the output. So here A is 12, right? Which means 12 less than 10 is false. On the right side, we have A modulus 2, where the value of A is 12, which means this is true and this is false. So in this case, you will see that result will get printed because one of the expression is true, and due to which this conditional statements will become true because we are using the OR operator here. So this is how you can use the OR operator. And finally, we have the NOT operator. So when it comes to NOT operator, we had two examples where whenever our operand was returning true, the NOT operator was returning false, and whenever our operand was returning false, then our NOT operator was returning true. So say for example, if we write print and then if we write A is greater than 10, and if we add not as the operator before this expression, then if we execute it, then as you can see here that this returns false. And this is because 12 is greater than 10, which is true, right? Now because this is true, the NOT operator simply returns false. So if you just remove the NOT operator and execute it, then as you can see here that it returns true as the output. Now if you add the NOT operator, then it will simply return the opposite of true, which is false. And similarly, if you give less than operator here, then in this case 12 is less than 10 is false, which means that NOT operator will make it as true. So this is how you can use the NOT operator. Basically, it is just to find whether a particular statement is not true. true. So whenever you want to ensure that a particular expression is not truthful, then in that case you can use the not operator. Now say for example, you can use it in a conditional statement like this. So say for example, you want to ensure that A is greater than 12, which means that here you are saying that whenever A is not greater than 12, then print A is less than 12. So here you are saying that A shouldn't be greater than 12. Only then this print statement will get executed. So now say for example, if the value of A is 14, then in this case the print statement will not get executed. Why is it so? Because 14 is greater than 12 is true, right? Which means that if it is returning true, then not will make it false. So for this if conditional statement, the result will be false. So which means that this print statement will not get executed. So if you execute this code, then as you can see here that this print statement did not get executed. Now if I change the value of A to 11, then now 11 greater than 12 is false, right? Which means that the not operator will make it true, and in that case the if conditional statement will become true, and due to which this print statement will get executed. So if you execute this code, as you can see that we are getting the result as A is less than 12. So I hope that now it is clear that how we can use different logical operators in order to compare different logical expressions together, and also how we can use these logical operators in our conditional statements in order to take decisions and perform certain tasks based on the truthfulness of multiple logical expressions. So this was about logical operator. In the next video, we will understand about assignment operators. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So if you like this video, then hit that like button, share it with other code lovers, and also subscribe to CodeFramer for more videos in the future. Thank you and see you next time.